Hello, everyone, and welcome back to week 3 of the Reddit Battle Royale League. For this edition of the Battle Royale League, we've actually made a slight change in the commentating team as Radux was kind of a bit overwhelmed with having to commentate and do all of the administrative stuff and then still also move around in Geoguessr. So we've decided to bring in Pwndnoob. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, and I appreciate you guys having me. It's been really fun watching the start of this Battle Royale League, and it's going to be even more fun to be able to participate in the casting.
Yeah, thanks for joining me today. Radux will still be there in the background. He'll sometimes pop in, give us an update on how the stats are looking, how the results are, and if there's anything going wrong. And apart from that, yeah, we'll do the main commentary today. And for our two modes today, we've got country moving multi-guess and distance no moving panning zooming multi-guess. So no single guessing today, at least. Means probably the games will all take very long, but we'll see. Yeah, Poon, what do you think about the two game modes today?
I think Country Moving Multi-Guess, because it's the most normal, it's been around the longest in like the GeoGuessr system, these guys should be very familiar, and it should result in a really competitive match. In regards to distance, no moving, panning, zooming, multi-guess, I think we're going to see a lot more of that triangulation that we have seen previously in other rounds, but I think it's going to be even stronger. And I think there's some players that have really shown a proficiency with that. And I'm feeling Trickter might really like that setup, for example.
Yeah, I agree with you on the country moving multi-guest. That's going to be just a very standard mode. Everyone's played that thousands of times. Well, maybe not thousands, but probably hundreds of times. Yeah, the distance, no moving, panning, zooming is going to be very interesting. Probably not what you'd normally expect from playing GeoGuessr. They're kind of odd in the way that it definitely still helps you if you've got a good first impression, at least in the first few rounds where you've not got as many guesses to play with. But especially in the later rounds, as you said, it'll probably mostly come down to who's better at triangulating stuff and maybe even who can formulate the better strategy of when to guess, where to start guessing. Like stuff with do you start guessing in the capital? Do you maybe start outside so you know if you're far away, you need to go to the capital? And just stuff like that. There could be some interesting strategies forming. Unfortunately, we probably won't know exactly what the players are doing. We'll just see them moving around the table, but we can have our own little ideas of where the locations could be. And yeah, one quick
Yeah,
look.
and
Oh, yeah, go on.
yeah, it has a big match strategy, right? Like with these players, if you have moving, like we're going to see in country moving multi-guess or well, usually distance, they'll have 10 plus lives a lot of the time, but they can put a lot of pressure. If you're in third place and you can still be guessing, you can really make it difficult for players to feel comfortable, and they'll spend a lot of their guesses. Yeah, you wanted to move into just looking at the standings?
Yeah, for sure. Let's just have a quick look. You can see up there the standings after the first two events, so four different game modes. And you can see there that it's very, very tight at the top. The top four, Jake Lyons, Trichter, Dennis, and Milan, all within like 2.5 ranks of each other. And then there's a bit of a gap until you've got Michael Pastetli and then Satsu, who are all also very, very close together, just half a rank between them. And then at the bottom there, you've got Brother Tom and Uncle Marco, who are a bit further behind and seem to mostly fight about who gets to not finish last.
Yeah, as a reminder, this is 8 best ranks accumulated at the end of the day, and we haven't had 8 rounds yet. But for someone like Jake Lyons at the top there, he has 3 really good rounds with the not actually winning a single round, but 3 really good rounds, and he can hope to expect to get rid of that 5.5 round at the end of the day if he can continue the pace that he's been going at. He is top of the table, so we can potentially expect that.
Yeah, there were also some discussions I had with Radox early on before we'd actually started the event, where I thought it could be kind of cool to have some results where you're like, I don't actually know the English term for it, but where you're like you've got 8 or 6, well, 12 events here, and you just kind of cross out the worst three or something, um, which would then also allow you to maybe miss an event here or there if you're too busy, and would still assure that you've got an equal chance to fight for some of the better placements rather than just you missing an event and automatically finishing like ninth for that event. But I think Radix in the end decided to not use that. So yeah,
Sorry, are we just doing it as added then? It's just the best out of your 12
Yes,
all your 12 results added?
I assume so.
Oh, okay. Sorry for misspeaking then. Yeah, so that hurts someone like Trickter, right, who's won both of the distance, rounds that we've had so
Mm,
far and is probably the favorite moving into the distance, no matter if it's gonna be, no moving, panning, or zooming, or otherwise, but has struggled relatively in their country, so that's interesting, and, I think is gonna help the, most well-rounded player for sure.
yeah, it's an idea going forward that after we've had this event, we can maybe look at would it make the event better? Or what would have happened if we were to implement such a system? I mean, you can afterwards just easily go in and be like, okay, cross out these, and these. How did it end up looking? But for now, I think we're going with this. And I think we're just about closing in on the time that everyone should be ready as well. So I think we can go right over to the actual competition.
In 10 seconds. Let's say again, country moving multi-guess.
Yep.
Okay, I wrote it to them.
All right. Thanks.
I'm gonna mute. Bye bye.
Yep. See you later. And yeah, we're now ready to go in to the first game of country moving multi-guess. And I think I'm just going to start the round in 3, 2, 1, go.
As a reminder, because Calamity is not in this competition, this first round is pretty free, but the players do like to, take their time and get it correct, and they should be able to get this correct with that sign.
Yep, that should be just about everything you need. But as you said, well, the interesting thing is actually if they all get it wrong, then they're still going to be, well, not if they all get it wrong. If someone gets all of it wrong, then they'll still be out regardless, even if the first round would have been a free one. But yes, this is obviously Vienna in the 19th district, as we can see on these signs here. And yeah,
That
I'll
would be
just.
east side.
Hmm?
So we're gonna put our guess in Chad, right?
well, I don't have the time anymore to put it there, but we're just knocked out. Yes. Um,
Ah,
just a shame. Yeah. Next time, I promise I'm gonna put it in chat. But yeah, we're into round 2 now. What do you think about this one?
this looks, yeah, more like Commonwealth, right? Like if it's not America, it's gonna be, probably New Zealand, Australia, potentially.
Yep. Turns out it was New Zealand, and everyone was super quick, just pushed deadly, falling out of that. I didn't even catch if he didn't guess or if he just got it wrong and locked in wrong. And this one should be even quicker for everyone to get right. I think that sign is
Yeah,
all you need.
not to mention the Japanese being there, but also just the way that the highway markers are.
Yeah.
Quick enough, easy Japan. Not to mention things like the meta that comes with Japan. You don't necessarily even need to see the sign.
Yeah, and everyone got
Quick
that
guess
one
there from
correct.
Milan, just first second, just automatically knows just based on the roads. But we do also have the sign here, and they should be able to see at least one of these
Yeah.
signs before the time if they're not confident.
Also got the road number here, which gives you Norway. And Satsu in the end,
Couple,
he got there. 2 wrong guesses, but he got it in the end.
yeah, Mako just not locking anything in before the lockout and gets knocked out.
Yep.
These are very rapid fire, though. This is a pretty place.
Yeah, it could looks to me something like maybe Benelux, like Netherlands, Belgium, or something Scandinavian. Turns out Scandinavian it is. Norway.
Not as much elevation as you sometimes see in Norway, but
Mm.
they saw something. Here we have a quick sign. Everybody should be able to at least see it. Goodness, where is that?
Romania is the right answer for that one. Pitești is one of the bigger cities in Romania. Um, and it looks like I think was it Satya here that dropped out, or was it Michael who dropped out in this one?
They're
Both.
definitely the last two to get knocked out. Here
Yeah,
we got more of a rural road. It's gonna be Eastern Europe, but
yeah. This could take players a bit longer. I don't really know yet where it could be. I had a
it
thought
is
of
multi-guess.
yep, Hungary coming in, Estonia, and as well as Romania, and Poland.
Uh,
It is.
There we
did,
go.
did Satsu and Michael drop out together?
I'm not 100%
Uh,
sure.
we can always double check the
Yeah,
results screen,
we've
but
got the
yeah, they dropped
recording
out.
as
I think
well.
maybe at the same time.
It might have done.
I wasn't sure. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you can ask them afterwards to make sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
Trichter wins the race there to find Poland. Black screen to start, but it's fine. They
yeah.
can just move out of it, and this is going to be uh Ireland? Or
Might be.
no,
I
it's
was thinking
not.
UK,
That
but
is.
no, it was Ireland. You're right. Yeah. I always struggle with differentiating between those two if we just have that limited information.
Yeah, it's always hard to tell. These players, they seem so confident when they guess, but if they know it's between Ireland and the UK, they just want to get a guess in before the lock, and if they're incorrect, they can then guess the other one immediately.
Yeah.
Quick Botswana, I'm not sure what they saw,
I
other
think it's
than it
just,
looked like Botswana.
yeah, it's generally arid. You've got a white car, and there's not a lot there in Africa. Estación Sacha Norte. Interesting. We have on here. Is that just Bienvenidos a Inokanki? Ecuador. Okay. Good
If you
job
don't know
there.
what it is, it's always Ecuador.
Yep. Good rules to live by. Milan and Jake in the final. And this is, interesting. Somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I doubt
Yeah,
moving
but
is going to
which
help them.
middle in there?
Yeah,
Milan's
there's.
gone with the immediate guess, as has Jake. We'll see. They both
Oh.
went with Botswana?
My thought was something like it could be. It's actually. I
Milan is
don't know.
out if Jake can get this correct, and Jake does not want to guess Eswatini, so he's kind of running out of South American.
Yeah.
I mean, could say Lesotho would
You
be the
could
last one.
still. It's not Lesotho. You could have Uganda. You
Yeah,
could. Yeah, it was Uganda. Okay, they both got all of
they
it
both got
wrong.
it.
That's interesting. Usually you see like a car meta in Uganda, but this one didn't have it. So I think that might be what confused them. Whereas here we've got Czechia or Slovakia. Take your pick. Czechia it is. Got the domain there. Both of them probably saw it.
Jake was close to the timer on that one.
Yep.
Sun check?
I think it's Europe, but Sun is to the south, sort of. But where? Kind of like Eastern Europe, but Romania. Okay.
Yeah, once we got further down the road, those fences looked more
Yeah.
Romanian. Milan gets the win. Jake lands in second and Trichter in third. If we looked at the standings, that's three of our top four players going into it, and Dennis is the fourth one.
Yeah.
So it's very much on form from our players from what we've seen in the previous weeks.
Yeah, you can see why they're at the top and why the standings look the way they do. So let us get back in the lobby and wait until everyone's ready again. Still,
Yeah, I mean, we already knew they were fantastic because we've been watching them play, but they've also all got the badges and
yeah.
accolades that come with being very good and being very practiced at this game.
Yeah, I also think that the moving country multi-guesser helps those people who are generally good at the distance game modes as well. Just because you've got a bit of time to move around, you can get us some information that usually helps you in the distance games and make use of that information as well, rather than in the no moving country games where you kind of just have to make do with whatever information you have at the start. But it looks like we've got everyone back in. So Radox, I'm going to start the game in 10 seconds roughly. And we'll see if we get any sort of different outcome in the second variant of this mode. And we're going to start in 3.
I've always been interested with the fire and the coldness.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think it's mostly just random, to be honest. All right, we're starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Second game. Everyone's in.
I say this because we're getting 10th every round. In theory, we should be dropping the heat because we're doing poorly.
We
We
should
got
be.
language. This will
Yep.
be free, but we get to guess an incorrect country
We can if we want to, yes.
or just let it time out. But these
The thing is, the timer speeds
guys
up
should be
with
fine.
only one person remaining, so I don't want to guess until everyone apart from me has guessed.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, I don't even think private lobbies would count towards the fire and ice. I think that would just be public lobbies.
Oh, that makes sense. Mako taking their time. It can be a bit difficult to tell the difference between, say, Thai, Lao, and Cambodian, but they did
Yeah,
all at least get it correct.
yeah.
And
It's generally a bit easier for me to tell the difference between Thailand
oh,
and Cambodia rather than Thailand and Laos. But
exactly.
Yeah, Lao doesn't have too much coverage, and everything that's not Vientiane has car meta, so you're not left with a whole lot. Oh, wait. Did that sign have anything on the other side? Well, kind of. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty obvious Brazil. That round
especially
gives
with the blurred out sign having a bunch of words ending in HO.
yeah, that gives us a little bit of time to mess around looking at signs that are washed away. And I'm actually pretty sure this is Estonia, not Finland, as it might look. But yep, seems I was right on that one.
Yeah, and there goes Jeff with the appropriate but incorrect Finland guest.
Yep. I definitely don't blame anyone for guessing Finland there first. It's hard to tell the difference sometimes. Language is
Two
pretty
immediate
much the
guesses,
same.
and I'm suspecting it's based on the winter like snowballer that we saw at the beginning.
Yeah, partly also I guess the road
Oh,
lines, and camera quality maybe a bit. Although it was generally like very nice camera quality for Finland. Most of the time you see like the bad Gen 2 coverage there. Oh, this one's cool. Runners there. We have New Zealand, I guess, or maybe some American. No, it was New Zealand.
you can see even before the round starts the telling telephone polls.
What do they tell you?
It would be like Romania, Hungary, Bulgaria sort of area,
Okay.
and then it's just well, not. I think you looked at a different poll, but it's going to be Romania because of the other polls that definitely are Romanian.
Yeah, I don't know any polls to be honest, so I've I ignore them mostly. As we're
Yeah,
back in
it's
New
when they
Zealand,
do like an A-frame stack that there's only like 3 countries that do that other than
more telephone
Baltic
polls.
countries. More telephone polls, but I think the language there is going to be more helpful. Just
Yeah,
knowing that it's a hilly English-speaking country. There just aren't actually that many that look
yeah,
like New Zealand.
native names as well. I think we had Tauma Runui or something on that building, which also gives you New Zealand straight away if it's not Hawaii. And everyone locking in super quick here, but all of them pretty much getting it wrong except for one at the start and having to resort to their backup guess. And now is a fun time in Singapore where everyone can chill a bit and not think about it too much.
Yeah, on the Czechia round that we just had, I think they flashed the people who got through to the next round, Slovakia into Czechia,
Yep.
and the other person did Slovenia
Hmm.
and got knocked out. We're down to the 3 of our top 4 players
Let me.
again, and it looks like we're just running it back.
Yeah, this always makes me worried about whether we just got a bug and it just loaded the same location again. But we'll see it soon. No, it generally just was Singapore back to back. Okay. I mean,
This is beautiful wherever we are.
yeah. What do we have?
This is probably Uganda, and
Interesting.
if it's not, Madagascar? But, like, I don't think I've ever seen a Madagascar like this.
What do we have here? I don't know. It doesn't look like Uganda to me based on the landscape. No.
Okay, at least I'm not, like, so far off and that Dennis
The
follows
person
through on me.
looks South American to me actually, something like Ecuador or Colombia. Um
What is that flag from Jake Leon's? Nigeria?
Kenya and then the US. It
Oh,
was
that's actually
Madagascar.
US.
Yeah.
And see, yeah, okay. Um, it's nice to know that my instincts. I've never seen a round like Madagascar like that, but there's a lot of uh, just tracker coverage in
Mm.
Madagascar.
Yeah, I've never seen that coverage either. I've never seen any tracker coverage in Madagascar actually. Just that one road
A
with
lot of
all
it's on
those.
the water,
Yeah.
or like
Oh,
above the city for one that's famous. Yeah, quick Botswana and
yep.
does not get matched by Jake Leon's. So I think this is actually the same exact results from first and second that we had in our first round,
Yeah.
with Dennis moving up
Yeah, Dennis moving up from
into.
fourth to third, and Trichter moving down to fifth, with Michael finishing in fourth. And then down there
And you
also.
intense again.
Yeah, I should really start practicing this. I don't know. It just looked like chat to me. I don't know. What am I supposed to do? All right, we'll go into the play again. I don't know, Radox, if you're here, can you give us an update on what the standings look like? How is it at the top?
Yeah, Milan and Jake Lyons are in first. Milan is 2 points ahead of Jake. Dennis Dennis is 3 points behind Jake in second. Trichter is in fourth with 12 points. He's 6 behind from the top. Then we have Brother Tom with 9, Michael with 9, Satsu with 7, and in the last spot we have Ankomaku and Pastetli with 3 points. So they have a lot of stuff to catch up with.
All right, thank you for the update. And as it seems like everyone's already ready again, I'm going to start the game in 5 seconds roughly. And we've got 2 more of this, 2 more country moving multi-guess. And we'll see. I mean, the results so far have looked pretty similar all around. Do you think, Poon, that we'll see more of the same in the last 2 events of this one?
Yeah, I think it's the most interesting person to me is Trichter, right? Because they're shown so much proficiency in the distance. If they can have good results in countries also, they quickly jump to be a favorite for the whole competition. But we've seen them get, I believe, third and then fifth so far. So it needs to be more thirds, less fifths, if they're gonna win the
Yep.
whole thing in the long run.
All right, then we're going into the game. Let's see if he can do what you said, more thirds, less fifths. In an Arabian country, probably Jordan. We've got a flag here.
That flag doesn't seem to match the. Okay, there it does. There's the black.
Yeah, I'm never really too sure about Jordan or Palestine, but it looks like everyone's sure enough.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the car color, which helps out in these Middle East countries because there's a limited amount of. We're not in Cuba. Try Haiti.
But no.
Ah.
Okay. Yeah, it was Jordan. Yep. I actually think that was a repeat for me. I think I've had that round before in a game of Geoguessr. And
Now we're in a parking lot
yeah,
or car park.
near Glasgow. All right.
That'll be the UK. It would be interesting if the UK was split up into the smaller countries and it did actually matter that it was Scotland,
Yeah,
but United Kingdom's good enough, and it looks like
more
we did actually
Singapore.
have a
Oh
drop
yeah,
there.
Satio dropped out. I didn't see what he was guessing. I must have been like maybe Ireland once, and maybe I don't even know what are countries that you could guess. Maybe you just got stuck in. Oh, actually, it was Malaysia, not Singapore. Oops. Was not paying enough attention to the round, apparently.
It's probably Johor Bahru. You're fine.
Just all the same anyway.
It's not. It's very much not. That's why we are missing another player
True.
in Bertoton. But
What's this?
Cordoba, but there's multiple Cordobas. It's
Yeah,
probably the
it
Spanish
is the
one.
one in Spain. Yep. Interesting. What do we have here? You've got France. Okay. I think Rouen and
This would be a
Orléans.
fun distance round. I think this would be pretty easy to get
Yeah.
the 1 minute 5K.
Yeah. I always find it a bit of a shame that after these rounds you don't get to see where exactly the location was.
Well, this looks miserable, but
Yep.
what kind of miserable?
UK miserable.
Ooh.
Yep. I actually thought for a second there might be something like Hungary, but
Yeah, exactly. Just because of the coverage being a bit
yep.
wintry, but everybody either sees the sign or figures it out. I think we did have a dropout though. Was it Mako?
It must have been. I'm not actually sure if he dropped out this round or the last one, but yeah.
I'd
And
love to know, Roddick. We got a free round here anyways with
Germany.
more signs that imply Vienna.
It's Germany actually, not Vienna.
Or Germany.
Um,
Oh goodness.
you would have dropped that here.
Yeah. I would have just. I didn't see like the. I mean, Vienna has the numbers right for
Yeah.
the 22 zones, but
We did see some
uh,
signs previously in the first round where you had street signs that didn't have the numbers in Vienna, but they're usually just very far outside. It was mostly just camera quality and stuff like that here for Germany. As we have a round in Poland there, quickly over as well. Drop this Michael, and we're back to the usual 4.
yeah, these guys have just been so consistent today, but also in general, and it's gonna reward them with lots of points. This is an interesting round. I
I
think
think
they
it's
should
just
get
Spain.
it,
Yeah, it's
but it's
just
just Spain,
Spain.
right?
Yeah, all of them got it.
Spain can be so varied. It's
Mm,
a lovely country for GeoGuessr. I'm more interesting, I guess, in distance and country,
yeah,
but I always had that opinion.
I think it also had a CV road, so it should have been Valencia, I think. As we here, pretty sure it's just Italy. Yep. everyone's still getting everything correct. And I can already see Vienna again.
There we
There
go.
we go. Now we have it here.
There we go. And it's going to be
Brigitte
Eastern
now.
Vienna too while we're at
Yeah.
it.
Brigitte now already tells us the district. No, I actually don't know really where the
Is
districts are
it
in
Eastern?
Vienna.
I just know I know downtown and I know 2122 are east of the Danube.
Yeah, I've never, like, if you live in Austria, you never really have a reason to learn what number the districts are in Vienna. Oh, right in front of the Shakhtar Donetsk stadium in the Ukraine. That's cool. It's a unique
That's
ground.
actually fantastic.
Yeah.
3 of them know their Eastern Europe football.
Yep, and Dennis apparently doesn't. Yep. I don't actually know where Dennis is from.
Football helps so much, by the way. It
Yeah,
really just helps you.
definitely.
Even when I was like getting very used to Geoguessr, just knowing Brazilian football teams, I was just like, okay, cool. I
Yeah,
now know what Brazilian looks like, or
we
well, Portuguese, I should
yeah,
say.
we have more Singapore here. The problem with Brazilian football teams is that most of them aren't actually named after the city they're from. So
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
they don't have help you with city knowledge. But I know like lots of cities I know in Germany or mostly in Europe. I know just because I've played like 10,000 hours of Football Manager. Has he got what is South Korea? Never mind. And someone dropped
Wow,
out.
I did not expect that to be the round that we
Yeah,
end on there. Milan has been quickly guessing and quickly guessing correctly,
yeah.
uh, and I think got a double knockout.
I think I don't actually it could be.
We have Radox here to confirm it. Radox, was that just Jake who went out, or was that Jake and Trichter?
Yeah, it was only Jake. Only Jake.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I misspoke, but again, it's the same top two, right? Jake has been
Yep.
keeping pace, but Milan takes the win, and Trichter does what I said earlier.
Yep.
Pulls off the third place, which will really help his chances. I think just needs one more result here. It can probably lock down third. I have a belief that they're probably not going to get first, even if they get first.
Yeah, it's actually the exact same top four in the exact same order as in game one. And I think it could still be close between Trichter and Dennis for third place. And I think Trichter still needs to finish ahead of Dennis in the last game to secure that. But if he manages to do that, I don't really think it matters for him which position he comes. I also think he's not really got a chance anymore at second or first. So yeah, he just needs to focus on being ahead of Dennis in that last game. And I think between Milan and Jake, it's also pretty much the same situation where Milan, if he finishes ahead of Jake, he's definitely first. And I think Jake would need to finish 2 positions ahead of Milan, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but something like that to overtake him. But from what we've seen so far from Milan, that'll be very difficult to achieve for Jake.
Yeah, I think if Jake's going to get the win, we need an early Milan knockout, and it's going to need to be something like Czechoslovakia, where it's like he goes Czechia and everybody else goes Slovakia, because Milan has just shown so much quality
Yeah.
otherwise, and been guessing so quickly, just first, second in, is immediately plopping it down before we have a chance to even really acknowledge what the landscape or what we're looking at.
Yeah, but I think even with a round like that, where it could be like one or the other, I still think it would need to be like down to 5 or 6 players. Because if it's still 9 players available, I think there'll be someone else who will guess wrong as well. So he'll get another
Exactly.
chance, and he'll be quick enough to take that chance and make it through. All right, so everyone's back in, and we can start the game in like 5 seconds, and go into our final of the country moving multi-guess games before we switch over to the distance NMPZ games, which are going to be a whole different beast.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be brilliant. We're gonna be able to say, oh, yeah, this is probably New Zealand, and it ends up being in Romania, and
Yep.
who knows? That's gonna be fun. Let's
Yep.
do it. But first, one more round of this.
Quick update here. Milan is 3 points ahead of Jake,
3,
so
okay.
Jake needs at least 4 technically,
Okay.
and Jake is 5 ahead of Dennis and Trichter. So Trichter and Dennis at 19 points
Oh, they're
each.
tied.
So the better one will probably finish third.
All right. Thanks for the
That's
update.
it from me.
All right, and we can go straight away into that last very important game, as you just heard, in 3, 2, 1, go. And as always, first round, not too important, as long as you can just guess whatever country it is in the 1 minute you're given. And, more Eastern Europe, probably?
Yeah, my roof game is subpar,
Oh,
but these roofs feel very unique.
Poland.
There we go.
Yep, that will be enough. And pretty much everyone except for Anko and Jake already in there. I do generally feel like Jake sometimes takes quite a long while. I see everyone else already locking in, and then he comes in. But it might just be that he takes his time and really makes sure in the first few rounds. And Anko guessing South Africa. Interesting one. I mean, I can understand it partially from. I can show you the starting position again. Looks a bit weird, but yeah. Let's just go with Australia here. Pretty much, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have even needed to guess. I think I guessed like the last second was where my third guess landed, but whatever. Ooh.
I do like this building in front of us.
Yeah,
I assume our players aren't spending too much time looking at that and instead are looking at, the signs.
we can because it's just Germany again, but yeah, everyone getting that except for Uncle Mako, who I think might have just been too slow rather than guessing the wrong country. Oh, and
Some yellow license plates here.
some Hebrew as well on the car, and some more over there. Although, is that Cyrillic? Why does that car have Cyrillic on it in Israel?
Yeah, this is why cars cannot be trusted.
Yep.
Yellow license plates, I mean, with that bulk of them can be.
Oh,
Are
that's
we?
cool. We're on the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg on the
Yeah,
Formula
I was
One
gonna say,
track,
every time I've ever been on a racetrack, it's been Germany
Austria.
or like,
Yeah.
yeah, Austria or UK. And when you come up to the sign, it says worth.
Yeah. And here you could tell the two people who don't follow Formula One and therefore didn't know it was in Austria. And Bro de Tom, unfortunately, too slow compared to Satsu in the end. And just
And
Russia, I guess? No,
I think,
Ukraine.
yeah, this is where
Really?
you check the
Okay.
license plates, right, for the blue and yellow. But
Yeah, a bit of a.
also just guessing Russia and then immediately moving over to Ukraine
Yeah.
also does
Oh,
the trick.
Dennis dropped out. Guessed wrong
So
3
that
times.
will give Trichter a good chance here. We still need to see if Jake is going to have a chance. He needs to, one,
Ooh.
get this correct. Took
And
his
he
time, but
does. Okay,
had
he
time
does.
because he was the
Yeah.
only one with the drop there from Dennis.
Yeah.
He had the full mile clock.
There wasn't really that many
If
options left for Jake either at this point, with the wrong
yeah,
guesses already. I think we're just in Germany again. Don't know which German city, but yeah. Satsu dropping out here. And, oh, well,
Bucharesti.
should give you what you need. And if it didn't, then this should.
The
There we
little
go.
flag there in the top right
Yep.
is also helpful.
Yeah, close to the city of Alba Iulia. You can see there on that sign. Unfortunately, not in distance, so not that it matters, but everyone got that one. And we're
That looks like a map of Europe.
partially.
Where's our
Yep.
where's our you're there sign? Come on, map.
That looks like a Swiss name, and we are in Switzerland. Yeah.
Ooh, Jake got knocked out.
Yeah.
Getting knocked out in a Swiss round is always a bit awkward because the camera is also a bit lower. If you are really cognizant it might be Swiss, you can usually get it, but
Yeah.
Jake just not there. This is actually, I think, local to me.
Oh,
I
interesting.
think this might be Oregon.
It's not. It's Canada, but
Canada. Terwilliger is literally like that looked like and was a road that's near Portland.
it's a typical beginner symptom of American Geoguessr players. Everything looks
Oh,
like
I
America.
C word and it's now America, yeah.
Yeah. Buenos Aires here apparently, and
Oh
everyone
no,
getting
it's
that
an
correctly.
advertisement for Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
That classic. We got another drop though, right?
Yeah,
No,
but
we got three. Fine.
Trichter's out. I think he might have dropped in Canada though. But yeah, great performance from Michael and Pastetli so far as we're in Brazil again here. They've not come this far in any of the 3 games prior, and they're still holding their own and keeping up with Milan, who at this point has already won this game mode because all of his competitors are out, and we're in Vienna again.
Yay, Vienna!
Yay! This time in the 18th district.
I think we are 2 Viennas, 2 Singapore. Maybe even 3 Singapore so
I
far.
think we're at 3
It's
for
always a good
both
race.
actually.
Oh goodness, my memory.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been like 30 minutes since we started.
Has it really? It goes so quick.
Yeah. What do we have
This would have been
here?
a fun no moving round. But
Yeah, this is
with the moving
cool.
around,
Mboa College. Is it? Let me look at the car. South Africa.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is a round. Milan dropped out. Actually, it's going to be Michael against Pwndnoob. What is this? Why is this a round? All right. Can we?
It's time for some racial profiling. Who in the world would wear that hat?
Can you just load please image? No, South Korea. Okay, Michael got it.
And Michael gets it.
Yeah, I think actually
Disgusting.
like some of the people reminded me of South Korean ethnicity, but yeah, if that sign had actually loaded, maybe we would have seen even more. But yeah, great win by Michael ahead of Pwndnoob. So not oh, actually, apparently you actually managed to click on their profiles and it takes you to their accounts. That's not what it usually does in Geoguessr, but that's fine. We'll finish on Pwndnoob's profile. And yeah, Radox will give us a bit of an update on how the first event ended.
Yeah, something very interesting happened. We've looked for Trickter and Dennis competing for third place. And surprisingly, Dennis even lost the fourth place to Michael with
Ooh.
his win. Michael finished fourth, Trickter third, Jake Lyons in second, and of course, Milan won.
Mm-hmm.
And behind those five, we have very close race between Pwndnoob, Brother Tom, and Satsu, all separated between 1 point, and Anko Mako finishing in ninth place.
All right. Thanks for the update, Radox. So that was our first event of the day. And we'll get ready and set everything up for the next one, and then we'll see you guys there. All right. So we're now moving into the distance, no moving, panning, zooming multi-guess rounds, where, as we've already said at the start, it's going to be a lot of triangulating and hoping you get the right place somehow, and probably also a whole lot of capital guesser, as we usually have in distance battle royale. So what do you think, Pwnd? Any favorites for this one?
I've said Trickter's name more than I think everybody else's name combined, but I do really value their distance guessing. They've won both of the previous distance rounds, and we did have it was no moving, panning, zooming, or sorry, no moving multi-guess previously.
Mm-hmm.
This will just take away a bit of the language
Yeah.
with the not being able to zoom or pan, and I think the panning is just going to make this fun to watch.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to start the lobby in about 5 to 10 seconds. I just want to mention as well how, for some reason, for me, playing no moving and playing no moving, panning, zooming is a massive difference because I feel like just for someone who guesses a lot based on vibes and stuff like language and stuff like that, it really takes away a lot if you can't just look around and see and get a better impression of what the round looks like to you. But we'll see if that makes a big difference for Trichter if he now just is fixated on just that one screen, and if he's still that good, or if he needed that more sort of three-dimensional aspect as we get into the game in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, I mean, to note, we do have single guests in the future, but I mean, a reasonable round. We're not playing Foliage Guesser just yet.
Yep.
Ooh, that poll looks like it should be telling, but I just don't know the answer, and I'm hoping at least
I'm
some of our players do.
90% confident we're in New Zealand. Probably would say on the southern half of the Northern Island would be my guess, but I hope I'm not too far off. We'll have a lot of
This round doesn't actually
yeah,
count for anything because we're just not going to put in a guess.
yeah.
But yeah, I think the sun kind of feels like it has to be in the north just based on where the compass is compared to the shadow of the long telephone pole.
Yeah, we can already see Trichter as well up there in the top in first place, even with just his one guess. And Uncle Mako apparently just deciding, why not waste another guess? Throw it at him. just for good measure. Yeah, I think he did that last time around as well. I'm not quite sure he understands that the first round doesn't matter too much, but yeah, it was the
This
North
guy's just so
Island.
good.
It was
It
the
was
North
North Island.
Island. It was just not quite where I thought it would be, but yeah, close enough for me. As going into round 2. Got a lot of trees here.
I think the most telling tree is the one in the bottom left, right? I
This
feel
one.
like it just says Southeast Asia in
Yeah,
combination with the fencing.
I agree with that. I had a quick thought of maybe it could be Brazil or something, but yeah, I think something like Thailand or maybe even Cambodia could also well be the case.
That's
Um,
gonna be a big theme, right? Is it Ecuador, Colombia sort of thing, or is it just Southeast Asia?
yeah, definitely. As you see, Ankomako now just overtaking Brodersom, who himself goes back up there, which now means Ankomako is down there again and only has 2 guesses remaining. And Trichter also just in second to last place. So if Anko could manage with his last guess to, oh well, never mind. Trichter's up there again, and Anko's ahead
Oh,
of Pastetli. 2 more for him.
I surely
Nope,
should get one more guess in, but it's not gonna be
not
enough.
anymore.
It's gonna be slightly out.
It was Bolivia.
That was Bolivia. Was it even like close to Santa Cruz?
Bula Bula. Sort of
No,
halfway between Cochabamba.
yeah.
I remember how this area generally looks. I don't remember this area really.
Yeah, it's like
Hmm.
hilly jungle basically,
Yeah,
as it gets into just the lowlands.
this one's
We
interesting.
have a couple of yellow license plates,
In
but I think
Africa for
really,
sure,
yeah,
but
I mean, this is a big problem with uh no moving is you can't look down and confirm that this is Ghana, but I'm pretty sure this is uh Ghana just based a
yeah.
large part on my car has like that really patty car manufacturing where they use multiple colors on the car. That screams Ghana to me.
Yeah, and it was Anko dropping out guessing Nigeria. I can understand part of that. I mean, it looked very religious there. We had a bunch of advertisement boards talking about God and worshipping, but this time just sort of north of Kumasi. And we see more trees.
Hmm.
We see
A lot of
sort of
power lines too.
yeah, we see the snow-covered mountains in the background. Which to me means that it's either New Zealand or it's gonna be Canada. Like one of the two. There's not much in between that this could be.
Yeah, these trees look like pseudo-tropical in my
Yeah.
mind. There is also like a mailbox, which isn't actually that common. America Guesser and me just wants to say, well, everybody should have a mailbox, but you don't actually see them all across the world.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And it looks like Broder Tom has one more guess to get himself out of that last place, and he does so, which now puts Trichter there, which now puts Milan there. And now Trichter's back
Guy
in.
Tractor should have one more guess. And
Yeah.
only has one guess to use, so it's gonna need to be a valuable one.
Will he make it? Yeah. Satya's out. Just last second. It was Chile. Yeah. I did think about
I
that
don't
for a
think these boys
second.
were that confident in their chili. I think they were all triangulating off each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, chili makes sense, right? It
Yeah, it makes
had
sense.
like those trees did not look like a common tree that you'd see,
Yeah,
and
and
southern Chile is very unique in some
also,
senses.
yeah, also makes sense with the snow-covered mountains in the background. As we're here, I think this is just Uruguay. Um,
Yeah, Flores is a bit north of Montevideo.
yeah. This is just a street name called Flores, so you can never really be sure, um, whether it's just a street called after Flores in your country, or if it's called after Flores in a different country, or if it's just generally a word in Spanish that means something.
So you're feeling this is Montevideo, like suburbs or
I don't think it's Montevideo because
boondocks?
of the street signs. The ones in
Oh yeah,
Montevideo
true.
generally have like advertisements on them, but it could be one of the cities in Uruguay, maybe something like Tacuarembó or I don't know, Melo. What was it? It was Mercedes. Okay, we're pretty much right. Um,
Yeah.
Melo is over here. Tacuarembó is here. One of the cities
I
in
was I was,
Uruguay.
I was gonna say I know what Melo looks like, and it wasn't the answer, but it's a lovely name for a town, by the way.
Yeah.
Shout out to Melo. This is absolutely what I expected out of this round. You get one little building that you can see the red roof on, or orangey roof that implies that we're somewhere in like southern Europe, but
Yeah,
you can't even like look around. There might be a rift if you got to turn around, but you don't get to.
my first thought was North Macedonia, but it could also be something like Greece. I just get that general Balkans feel from this location.
I know my instinct here is slam it in Albania, get mad, and then
It's
try and figure
Montenegro.
out where it is from there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tivat. Yeah, so for some reason Montenegro is one of those countries that like completely just doesn't exist in my mind whenever I'm playing something like Battle Royale. I don't know. And this is a nice one. This is
Hey, we got a sign this time. Let's go.
potentially 5Kable. We're in Finland, near the number 16.
Yeah.
So let's see if anyone can manage to triangulate the right location with just that. We have dropped Trichter in the meantime, in the second to last round. Last one was Broder Tom going out. And we've got pretty much our 3 main contestants still, and as well as Michael, who won the last round of the first event, of the first 4 games.
Yeah, and the lives are looking healthy
Yeah,
and pretty even too.
I think this is definitely a round where you could start like conserving a few lives, where you can be like, just okay, I'm looking for the 16 on the map, and before I found that, I'm not guessing anywhere. And then when time gets low, of course, you're gonna start. It looks like Milan is in trouble here. He might get in one more guess before time runs out. Yep, but that wasn't the right one. And so he's
Yeah,
out.
it feels like everybody else found the road and he
Yep.
didn't. Yep, they're all on the
There's the
16,
16.
and Milan just doesn't go far enough north.
Yeah, he was on the E63. Couldn't find the right road in time and drops out.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the town shows on the map from a decent amount of zooming, so it's probably very small too.
We're getting to see a lot of trees in this one. These kind of
This,
I want to
oh
say
goodness, I have no clue.
America.
Yeah, the cars definitely also help the
Mm,
American because they just look like the sort of things that you'd take to the forest like this.
yeah. But even then, like where, I've got no idea.
I would suspect that their first guesses were West Coast.
Could even maybe
Like
be BC somewhere.
yeah. Um,
Looks like
oof.
Dennis is struggling a bit. He's also got significantly less lives than the other 2. He's only got 2 more. But he's got the time to make the 2 guesses, I think. But it seems like they're not getting that much closer. Not that we can
This is
actually
also
tell.
the sort of round I can absolutely imagine that you're like seeing that you're 20 kilometers away, but they're all very far away from each other.
Yep, absolutely.
And I suspect that that's what was happening with our
Yep.
Jake Leons, and they're just like, yeah, it's definitely here in California. It's not.
Yeah.
South Korea is an interesting guess there, but I mean, maybe those were like Kias or something. I
I,
don't
I
really
yeah.
have.
I love though
Hey,
how
we got Japan guesser. Let's go.
I love though how it was like for Dennis it's obvious. He was probably like 20, 30, maybe 200 kilometers away from Jake, and he's like, I gotta get closer somewhere. But for Jake, he must have seen like he's like 8,000 kilometers away, and he barely used any of his guesses and was like, this is fine. This is fine.
Now they're spamming them, and for good reason. This is
Yeah.
very clear Japan, especially with these guys who have been so proficient in their country guesser. But where in Japan? I mean, really, the only clue I can think of is like how close the buildings are together, and it's like an
Yeah.
average amount of clutter.
Yeah, I don't know where I feel it gives me more of a centralized vibe. Like no
Yeah,
extremes, no Hokkaido, no like Okinawa, obviously. But beyond that, really don't
yeah. I
know.
mean, these guys have lots of guesses, and Jake has run out of guesses. Michael did
Yep,
not get a chance to. It was
in
near the
Takaoka.
coast.
Yeah, in Toyama Prefecture, and it was pretty much central Japan. So I'm happy
Yep.
I was at least right with that one. As Michael a bit too far south near Nagoya. So I'm assuming
Were there
they.
any clues that made it coastal? Hmm,
I
interesting.
I don't think so. Looking at, I mean, you have the canal there. You can assume maybe like it's probably more likely that you've got rivers connecting to the coast. Um, so maybe you can guess that a bit, but yeah, you've got rivers pretty much everywhere through Japan, except for like the very
Yeah,
mountainous parts. It did look quite flat actually. So maybe you could be like, okay, obviously there's a lot of mountains in the middle of Japan. So if you've got a very flat location, you could go just towards the coast. Um, but I think quite generally both of them just triangulated and put as many guesses down as they could somehow.
Radux, you're a Japan expert. I would feel is fair to say. While we get this next game started, any opinions on that last round or the round as a whole?
Yeah, it was quite a tough. Yeah, it felt like it's decently populated, but probably not like Tokyo style or Osaka, but yeah, some kind of a suburb of what was it, Ishikawa or
It
somewhere
was
there, Kanazawa, somewhere there
yeah, it was
around.
northeast of Kanazawa in Toyama, I think, prefecture.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't get any extreme vibes either. It,
Yep.
I felt like could be any city in like central Japan, maybe
Which it was.
even a little bit further south. But yeah, I mean, could have been also northern Tohoku. But yeah, definitely no Hokkaido and no island vibe.
Yep. All right. So we agreed on that one. Okay.
Yay!
Yay. All right. It seems like everyone's ready again. So we're gonna start in a bit. I've already kind of forgotten most of the placements of that game. It literally just happened. It was it Jake ahead of Michael, right?
That sounds correct.
All right, good. Then let's just forget about that game entirely and go into the next one. Live in the present. In 3, 2, 1, go. And
As a reminder, this round doesn't particularly matter. It's
yep,
just good practice, and it looks like it's gonna be. I feel like not Poland, but near Poland.
I think they're gonna be glad this round doesn't count. Um,
Yeah,
I I don't really know. It does. I think it's definitely Europe, but beyond that, it doesn't really give me any particular impression of a specific country. It could very well be Poland. I don't think it's too far
it's got a bit of
south.
elevation, so it's gonna be like a flat part of a mountainous country or a hilly part of a flat
Mm,
country in my mind, but that doesn't really say much.
yeah, kind of leaves you with a lot of options. Um, yeah, it doesn't really feel too much like Poland to me either. I had it for maybe something like northern France but
If it's France, I'd be surprised, but I don't actually have a better answer for you. Let's find out.
northern Spain.
Northern Spain.
Yeah,
Northern Spain is wacky, mainly because it's usually very hilly, but also it can be coastal, and it looks like it's just a flat part in northern Spain.
yeah.
Shoutouts to Jake for going New Zealand and getting away with it, because that round didn't
Yep.
matter.
That's a risky move because, like, surely in the back of your mind, you're like, what if Calamity just suddenly decides to just guess Australia for the heck of it? And I'm suddenly out. I mean,
If we're
I'd never do that. And even if we did, we'd just repeat the round.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
you
If
gotta
we're
be,
trolling, we go
yeah,
Antarctica, right? Like
yeah.
that's the
And then it turns out it's New Zealand and someone guessed Europe and we're still through. Uh, what is this one? This is a bit of a weird one. Is it just, what is it? Is it
the
Israel?
big road gives me like random Turkey vibes, but those signs are
The
not,
signs are
as far as I
not
know,
Turkey.
Turkish.
The signs, the signs sort of give me a Brazilian vibe, but nothing else matches Brazil. This is an odd round.
Also, like, is that one yellow license plate in a field
There's
of?
a
No, there's
few.
multiple
There's
yellows. Is it just like Israel or
it
Colombia?
is Israel. All right. I mean, I did say it gave me those vibes, but all right.
Yeah, I mean, just the stone is like a Middle Eastern
Mm,
Israel Jordan sort of feel, but and that does actually result in Nkrumah going out. I think the yellow license plates were the clue that
yeah.
would have clued in these veterans.
Yeah, the
Yeah, this
most
is the
secure
telephone
one.
poll I was talking about earlier that
Ah.
I don't know precisely which countries it is in, but definitely Romania and I believe Poland and one of Bulgaria or Hungary that I could never recall.
Yeah, dude. Maybe we're just kind of looking into the backyard of someone here. Um I've
This is
no
very much around that. I expect a lot of guesses to be
yeah,
used and wasted.
definitely. Seeing guesses come in left, right, and center, especially if the people are further down. The ones who got lucky with their first guesses can kind of lean back a bit. Satya still got 6 guesses left and he's not doing anything.
I hope this isn't like a disconnect from Satya because this is a lot of inaction.
Yeah, it looks like. Oh, never mind. He was just waiting to push Trichter
just
out.
trolling Trichter, and Trichter gets 8th.
It's a risky troll if he is trolling, because he was still pretty far off as we were
And he
in
gets in with
Slovenia.
a Liechtenstein too, which is
Not quite Liechtenstein.
it's not
Liechtenstein's over
Liechtenstein,
here,
it's
but
Austria, it's Austria.
yeah,
Yeah, just a random Austria guess. This is lovely.
yeah,
We're on the west coast, but it looks like the coast might also come around to the north.
yeah. It's an
And
interesting one. Something like Ecuador, maybe.
if you don't know, it's Ecuador.
It could also be. It's hard to tell ethnicity with blurred faces. It could be like Southeast Asian, like Indonesia or something as well, or the Philippines. Um, just
I've
based
never
on
seen
the
this
tropical
many
trees.
trees like this. Like usually when you see palms, it's not like a whole forest or farm of them.
A lot of them are pretty much almost fallen over already.
Yeah, they're windblown completely.
It looks
Yeah,
like
this is a round that I really wish that we had the distances. 'Cause
mm,
I have a suspicion it started off where someone just started and got 10,000 kilometers
yeah.
away.
It looks like Jake's dropping out here. It was Sri Lanka. Okay,
Sri Lanka.
that makes
Some of
sense.
these guys got very close too.
Yeah, they're all just sort of on the coast there, lining up.
That's really interesting.
And Jake dropped
Sri
out in
Lanka is like
Indonesia.
considered a very hilly country in whole, but when you're on the coast, you're on the coast.
Is Sri Lanka
This is a
considered hilly? I thought it
I
has
guess
like
not mountainous.
it has a mountainous area in the middle of it, but I thought the rest of it was very flat. But anyway, it looks like we're
Might need to learn Sri Lanka. This looks like a road check, and then you just double check with the season. You don't get that much fall coverage.
yeah, looks like it's in Europe again somewhere.
I always consider when you get these like weird road markings that are happening in the bottom left, that to be more of like a Russian thing.
Yeah,
But
could be.
I wouldn't know where to guess in Russia if this was.
I don't think any of them really would. It doesn't look Far Eastern for sure, but
No,
Serbia.
that's
All
right,
right.
because it wasn't. It was Serbia.
Yep.
Serbia is one of my like absolute. I just you're Montenegro, my Serbia. I just forget that
Yeah.
Serbia exists until I see a sign that says Belgrade on it.
I love, by the way, how everyone guessed like outskirts of Serbia, and like one person guessed in the middle. And we've
This
got
is no zooming, and it's a pain in the butt because that's should
Slovakia.
be readable.
It's
Oh, it's
Slovakia.
an SK. Okay, I
Yeah.
was like ST is not a thing.
Yeah. I've got a massive screen in front of me, and you know you see it screen shared, so it's even harder for you to read. But that's an interesting one though, because now everyone knows it's Slovakia, and Slovakia is not a big country, so it might come down to a very small distance here.
Yeah, I think Brother Tom, with no guesses, if their guess isn't very good, they might
Mm,
struggle in the second half of this round. Because Milan has 7. Milan is going to get as many guesses as they need
but Dennis has only
to 5.
one left, so he might be out very soon there, and he's gonna need to make the next one count, or he
Meanwhile,
doesn't.
Pashatelli is getting
Yeah,
away like a bandit with just
yeah.
saving their guesses. Is it going to be Milan out?
It looks like it. Yep, he's gone. It was Bratislava, just
I
on the
assume that
eastern
everybody just
side.
put somewhere in Bratislava and then just could not figure out
Yep.
uh, how close these guys were, and they were all so close.
That's a bit of a problem with triangulating as well, when you're like, well, I've guessed like 7 different places in Bratislava. Now, which direction do I actually need to move my marker in to get closer? That can be quite tough to figure out too.
That license plate has blue on both sides,
I think so, yes.
but like it's less blue, which is that like a secondary Albania or something? Like,
It doesn't
or is it
look
just like,
like
or is it like
Albania to
France?
me.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's the problem. Is I feel like the French might have like it because Italy is the classic, right? You have
Yeah.
blue on both sides, but it doesn't look that blue on the right side,
Yeah, it does
and so it's
I feel like it kind
one
of
of those
fits
Mexican.
Italy though in terms of the architecture, but it is France,
Yeah, France.
not. Also interesting that
Oh,
like no one got even close to the right city in this scenario. 2 people guessing in Italy.
Yeah, I mean, with the license plate being blue on both sides, Italy is the first thought, but it just didn't look like as much blue as you'd expect.
Yeah.
And France does have, if not like, I think it might be a secondary plate, or they've changed the plate sometime right around when
Mm.
the coverage from France comes in. Welcome to Horizon Guesser.
Field guesser. Yep.
Just good luck. It does have some elevation, which usually with Field Guesser, like the first thing that comes to
Yeah.
mind is just Poland, right? But Poland is also generally pretty flat.
I think it
Um,
looks more like Western Europe to me. Something like
yeah,
France.
it's gonna be France would be first guess, right? And
Yeah.
then you go from there.
Maybe even something more central could also be. Maybe something like Czechia. Um,
I think the actual answer is you really want to say Germany, but Germany doesn't have
yeah,
rural roads.
pretty
This is
much.
not.
Yeah,
This is what Germany looks like, but it's not Germany.
exactly. It was Czechia,
That's
near Slim.
much further east than I thought it would be, given the statement I just said. But yeah, good job to these guys for figuring out the
Mm.
country at least.
Venice was the
Uh,
furthest away, which leaves us with Pastetli against Lazio, which is a pretty interesting final.
yeah, it's two players. I mean, we've seen them have certain amounts of success previously, but whoever wins this, it's going to be either Pashtelli's second win of the day or Sotsu's first.
Yeah, and I can read you what it says there. It says Policia Municipal Preventiva, and then I think it says Delegación San José de Pinos, which doesn't actually tell me anything beyond that it's Spanish and probably somewhere in South America.
Yeah, San Jose after like Santa Clara is probably like the second most common of the saints that annoy you because they show up everywhere.
mm. And unfortunately, there's also no more information pointing to anything apart from the probably rather small city you're in. Um, Probably something like, what does it even look like? I don't even know.
I
Just
mean,
somewhere in South America. No,
my
not
uh
even
my
that.
my instinct was Mexico, but
Yeah,
I
it
said
was
it after it
Mexico.
showed up. Um,
Yeah, very small village. It didn't even look that small to me, just looking at it in Street View. You have to zoom in very far. And yeah, as it turns out, Pastetli got slightly closer there. He did also have like quite a few more guesses left than Satsu, and he made use of them.
yeah, I think that incredibly good, if not lucky, guess in Bratislava puts him in a great spot here for the final few rounds, including this Mexico round.
Mm.
Um, Congratulations to Pastelli. I think this is hopefully going to cover them because in the overall standings, they are in sixth,
Yeah, it's
and if
sort
they
of
can
in the
have
middle,
a
yeah.
if they have a good day here today, uh, I'm not sure necessarily that what his goal is, if he's trying to get top three, if he's trying to win the whole thing, but this is going to help no matter what his intent is.
Yeah, it's not in a good position if his goal is trying to win the whole thing, but he can definitely maybe at least go for challenging that fourth spot that Trichter is currently holding. I think that would be something more realistic at this point. But you never know. We're only in the third week, not even halfway through yet. Radox, can we get a quick update after 2 games of this game mode? How's it looking?
Yeah, this one is going to be really interesting. It looks like we have 7 players who are in between 4 points. We have Dennis leading with 14, and Pastetli is in 7th place with 10, and everybody is in between except Trichter and Ankomako. They are last with 6 and 3 points.
All right.
So really interesting.
Thanks for that.
Richter being near the bottom in a distance round is novel.
Yeah, I think it generally was what I mentioned earlier, that just the way that you can't even pan or zoom in this might inhibit him that much that he just doesn't have enough information, doesn't have the information he'd usually have to help him in a distance game. So it's kind of more, almost more like a country game where you're just trying to even find out the country that you're in. And I think he might struggle a bit, definitely a bit more with this than some of the more standard distance modes. But I think as everyone's ready again, we can start the game pretty soon. So we've seen two games already. Who do you think is going to be fighting for that win in this event?
I think Jake has to be near that top of the list. He's just shown so much solidness that we haven't seen from everybody else today. Like Milan was doing really well in the previous rounds, and I don't think like Jake has really stood out. But not standing out means that you're not losing early. Like that's the main thing that we're noticing. I think Jake has been really solid. They also the only person who's survived to maintain their fire. While the game has sassily said that Trickter and Dennis are doing poorly, which is ridiculous
Yeah,
because
the
they're
most important
not.
statistic. He's maintained his flame. So have I. Yeah,
Oh
definitely.
yeah, yeah. If we don't answer, we can't be wrong.
Yeah,
It's
the game
quick trick.
the game recognizes that 200 IQ move. So I think we can get into the game in 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh.
That's an interesting arrow. I feel like it's a limited amount of countries, and I'm trying to remember which countries have the chevron with the blue and the white.
Yeah, I don't know actually. It kind of reminds me a bit of France, maybe?
The license plates don't have, or is that an EU badge in there?
I think so. I think you can
Mhm.
see it on that one better than on the one that's right in front of you. There's also Peugeot there, which is a French car, and there's a Renault back there. It could be. It could
The
just.
the colors of the buildings also say that it could definitely be some posh part of France. This is all educational. Really, this is the round that Calamity is going to fail to guess,
Yep.
and the only drama is if Mako decides to waste another guess or not.
And it seems like he's learned from his past mistakes, and he's saving it up now. He's gonna need them for sure. And it was France, yep. It was Paris.
It was Paris. Okay,
Just far outskirts.
I didn't realize Paris was like such a wintry coverage, but I guess it's been covered so many times that
Yeah,
there must be.
I think Paris is so big just that it has lots of different coverage types as well. More
Oh
trees.
no.
I
You
think
want to
this.
speculate on a minute for this, or just
I think
oh
I'm
goodness?
like 80% sure this is either Russia or Scandinavia. And the other 20% are somewhere completely different and I'm just generally wrong, but I have hopes that it's not just a complete random guess.
Yeah, that rock looks Finnish.
Hmm. I was more I was more thinking about the trees and parts of what you can see about the road there. But yeah, why not?
It look it looks like it. Yeah, that we were talking before this show started about like the Finnish lakes, and it looks like it could be like that northern Russia,
Mm,
Finland area that probably has a regional name.
yeah,
We're seeing a lot of guesses burnt from some players, some already down to two, but it's Mako at the bottom and maybe
yeah.
gets one more guess in. They do, but it's not going to be enough.
It
It
was
was
Sweden.
northern Sweden. Interesting.
Yeah. Apparently trees enough to guess and judge that it is Scandinavia or Russia. Um yeah, beyond that obviously players had a lot of guesses and could get closer if they weren't close to begin with. And I think this one is going to be a lot more difficult to get the right location on.
Yeah, I think the most telling tree is the one on the far right.
This one?
That yeah. My Zoo Tycoon knowledge. I think that's either Southern Africa. I don't think it's a eucalyptus tree, so I think it's just Southern Africa, and that matches up with the road pathing. This like has that sort of feel that you see from the more rural parts, be
You
it
think so?
Swaziland or Botswana.
Yeah, it could be
I
like Swaziland or Botswana. I thought when you said South Africa, I thought you meant the country South Africa rather than
or
the
it's
region.
Senegal. It did have
But
it did
yeah,
have that sort of like paleness that Senegal has, but ugh. It definitely like I got Africa
no,
half the battle.
no one was even
I
close. No one at
I
all.
would have been out right. That eighth place there is actually the guest from Botswana there from
Yeah,
Pachatelli. So
I mean, you would have
I think Pachatelli also got stuck in that situation where the boys who were in South America and somehow got through
yeah,
seemed to be a similar distance from the actual location as
yeah.
Pachatelli. And so Pachatelli is like, I'm only 20 kilometers away.
Yep, definitely can sometimes be the case. There, I think there was someone like right next to him as well on in Botswana there. So it's always difficult for the one who's further away, because the one who's closer can see like he's still 500 kilometers away. The one who's further
Yeah, but there
away,
was
he's like,
2 of them in South Africa, or not South
yeah,
Africa, South America, just trolling. Brilliant, Bulgaria around here, by the way. Nobody particularly close because it
yeah,
was not much to it other than, like, one yellow line you could see on the road.
yeah. Satsio going out on this one after his good second place earlier. Goes out in 7th here. And we got more trees. That's an interesting
This
one. That looks like a very good camera.
Yeah, this is a lovely picture, for what is just the side of a road.
Yeah. What could that be? I feel like the fields sort of remind me of Balkans again, but the general feel also, it could also be like Netherlands, Belgium,
Yeah, just based on the flatness.
Poland. Okay.
I I mean, Poland's always a good option when it's
Yeah.
a field, but that didn't feel like your typical Polish field in my mind, and perhaps
Yeah.
because it's close to a city.
Yeah, right outside of Warsaw. What do we have here? It says Minas.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of our Spanish, American countries.
Yeah. Sort of the feeling it gives me is more so like Mexico or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like what I've been dealing with Guatemala, but not Guatemala, so it's gonna be Mexico.
Yeah.
And then from Mexico, it's based on the foliage. It's probably north of Mexico City.
If it's Mexico, it's definitely more northern. Or alternatively, maybe even like very far south, like almost on a border to whatever country is next to Mexico. Is Guatemala right next to Mexico? It is, isn't it?
It, yeah, the mountains to the north are
Or it's
kind of.
Ecuador.
Oh wow!
Actually,
These,
Peru. Yep.
you know what happened? Half of these boys guessed Mexico, realized they were 5,000 kilometers away, and then went and put it Ecuador.
Quite possible,
I
yes.
see you. You guys aren't as clever as you think we are. Yeah, the sentence didn't work. Whatever. Hey, we got an actual guessable one. This is one that if you were playing, you would immediately look down. But that might also be a follow car behind us.
I'm not. I like my first thought was Jordan, but the more I think about it, it could just be Tunisia as well. Yeah, but
The Tunisian car, I recall it as being green,
yeah.
but
I mean, I think I don't even know why I'm saying this, but I feel like we're looking out front of the car and not towards the back. But actually, it's just I don't really have any logical reason as to why that would be the case.
yeah, the plant on the left feels Mediterranean, which doesn't really say much. Everything that's
It was Jordan.
yeah, but Jordan I think made sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, we say it's Mediterranean. We were
But
debating between Tunisia and
all of
Jordan. They're both Mediterranean.
these I'm waiting for that random Cyprus round. Hit me with some Greece.
Yeah,
This looks bleak, which
very bleak.
two things, right? Dennis, yeah. Here's the strategy: is when we don't know the answer, just look at the standings. Dennis has 8 guesses in first.
Yeah,
Michael has 10. They've all got very healthy guesses here, which we didn't necessarily see in the previous rounds.
yeah. I think a lot of them
And
will just go in this round.
yeah, this is definitely a round to burn it. It's that grass. That grass just screams at me. Dennis, despite being in first, had a guess prepped and did improve.
I feel like it might just be Argentina.
Yeah, that's I think the words I was looking for. I think it might just be Argentina.
We'll see in a bit. Trichter's currently in last, and he's got one more guess until and puts him in first, and now Michael's out, and it is just
Yeah,
Argentina. Yep.
that's why it's green. I've been getting Western Argentina and getting bullied by it on the regular recently.
Yeah, it's
I do
not
love
a fun part.
the what feels like a really rough chili guess getting away with it.
Mm,
I'm pretty sure that area of below Santiago looks completely different.
yep.
But it's closer than the other guesses that we saw in Argentina. Now we have snow, which only means like 4 different places, right? But the sign's probably more helpful.
Yeah, you've got that name there, and usually from just how it looks, I would have said Hungary, but that just doesn't really look all that Hungarian to me. I mean, it could just be a company name, and you never know with those. But yeah, got both of them 4 and 6 guesses. They used quite a lot in the last round. But I think just from the time left, you can't really make much more than 5 guesses anyway. They're both
Yeah,
trying.
I suspect this is both just Hungary spam, and while there's like some elevation to Hungary, you can like try and choose the flat portions. There isn't too much. We might just see this game end with Trichter's last
It was
guess. Didn't even get
Czechia.
off in Czechia.
Yeah, I was thinking like there in the last few seconds, but I didn't want to interrupt you. How like in Formula G recently, where we played Czechia, I had one round that was pretty much just dead winter.
Hmm.
So I knew there's some winter coverage in Czechia, and I think that matches more with the name we've seen on the building. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, obviously, if you have multiple guesses, you can just try it out and see
yeah.
which
The,
one it
the the
is.
snow tier list in my mind is like Hungary, Bulgaria, Czechia, and then like I've seen it a fair amount of snow in Italy.
Yeah,
Um,
occasionally.
but this is a win for Dennis. Trichter's back on his things, but this is a different group of winners than we've seen in different
Mm.
rounds. And given it was so close, I think it's going to be really close going to the last round. Do you want to confirm that for us, there, Radox?
Yeah, Dennis is ahead with a little bit of a lead of 4 points, but behind that, it's really close. Michael with 19 points, Jake with 18, Milan with 16, Brother Tom with 15, and Satio and Trichter with 14.
All right, so
Fantastic. And Jake has maintained their fire, so in my mind, Jake is a true winner. But
yeah, it looks
yeah,
like even in the cold, Dennis is still doing well, still winning.
the cold helped him out. It was Czechia in the snow.
Yeah, he was in his natural habitat. As everyone's ready again, and we can start in a few seconds. Once Radix has told everyone that they should be ready and expecting, but I think they probably all expect the game to start anyway, as we'll go into it in 3, 2, 1, go. Last round of the day, and we start looking at the building and some trees again. Oops, I didn't want to open the map. What does that say? Oh, that's
We
just
do
Hebrew.
have, yeah, some Hebrew.
All right. An interesting part of Israel, though, it doesn't look like the typical sort of close to the ocean or close to the sea Israel. More so, maybe like north. Like if I open the map quickly, somewhere
Hmm.
like up here in Nazareth, I could imagine being the case, or like
Yeah,
outskirts of
when
Jerusalem.
you're not coastal, your choices are like Jerusalem
Yeah,
area or
here or here, pretty
northern.
much.
And I'm gonna say this feels more northern
Yeah, and
from
it's
my
it's
experiences in
it's not
Israel.
super dry, so you're not down here anywhere. It could be maybe something like around here, but we'll see in a bit.
They're
And
not they're not
why?
spending their guesses as
Oh,
they should.
Mako hasn't guessed yet at all. He should. Okay, there we go. I was wondering, he's waiting a long time to guess there. It was inland, but in Rosh Hayin. Um, yeah, sort of not necessarily in the areas we thought about, but yeah, not a massive surprise. I am surprised that quite a lot of people guessed like central Tel Aviv because it didn't look like that at all to me. But I guess the guesses were pretty much irrelevant at that stage.
This I feel like the building might be a red herring here. I think the most interesting thing here is the trees.
Mm,
I just don't instinctually have a place in mind for where this could be, and I have a suspicion this is gonna be a guest burner for a
and
lot
my
of our players.
my instinct
Maybe they
was
shouldn't.
Australia.
Um, I buy that. Are you feeling like super southern,
Yeah,
like Melbourne,
southern. I
Adelaide, sort of?
actually feel like more so like not too far away from Sydney, just a bit inland. And so there's some hill hilly parts, relatively green, just west of Sydney. Um, that I thought it could be, and then it's just Australia. Yeah, it's
Uh,
you can't always be right.
you can't always be right, and if anybody did guess, I was thinking like, yeah, it does
That's what
look
I
like the
meant.
wood color. Ah, the Blue Mountains, cool.
Yeah.
The wood color looked not dissimilar from like the poles that you see in South Australia.
Mm,
But if you guess in South Australia, it's not like this is single guesser. You just
yep.
find out you're 15,000 kilometers away, and
Yep.
then you
Pretty
go
much.
fix. fix your issue. So don't give us too much hassle in the comments. We have EU license plates and that classic orangey brick on white. I would love to look around because this gives me the instincts that there's a potential
Romania.
rift. End up being Romania.
I think it must have been that Pwndnoob ran out of guesses because I think the round actually didn't go all the way through. So it must have been him running out of guesses completely, which is surprising at this stage this early on. But I guess either that or he's just completely absent for like 2 seconds and didn't realize it. This is interesting.
There's a lot of information here, and I don't know how much of it is actually useful.
Yeah. Like this is a very European style architecture, I feel
Yeah.
like. But this is all just the language is odd. Is it just Spain? It all feels weird.
It could be some like when you said Spain, I was like, it could be something wacky like Basque country, where like
Yeah.
but
It could also be like something like Romania. I feel like some of the language
yeah,
there.
when I don't know and it feels Latin but it's not Latin, Romania is a good guess. But I just don't know enough about like Romanian architecture. Do
Yeah.
Romania have churchy things like
Yeah, I
this?
think so. But it was just we're really not doing too well in this game.
No, Mexico City. Those people were like not as tanned as you'd hope for
Yeah.
being in
I
Mexico.
mean,
Goodness.
I wasn't horrible with Spain as my first impression, but uh, bit
And
wrong
now
there.
we get the roads don't have like the yellow markings of like the Americas, but this could be
This sort of
anywhere.
feels like a road where even if they had yellow markings, you wouldn't see them.
Yeah,
Half of it is
potentially.
just run over by water anyway, and the other half looks very run down. Yeah, general.
Anytime I see a soccer pitch, football pitch, I jump to America or Germany for whatever reason, but it's not
Yeah,
often
the
Germany.
general feeling of it, I would agree, looked a bit
Also,
American to me.
the coverage is a bit good for something like Germany.
Yeah, it's definitely not Germany because of the coverage. Yeah,
The fencing might be more American, right? Like just these
yeah.
good old chain link
Could
fences.
could also just, as we know from our previous rounds, could just be somewhere
It could
completely different.
also just be, Australia.
Okay,
Yeah,
no, it was
Chicago.
suburbs of Chicago. I did have a fear that it would suddenly just turn out to be Australia.
You put me in the caster desk, and Redox obviously knew it was Mexico. And didn't bother unmute and tell us.
Of course. At least this one should be a bit more straightforward. I think. I mean, it's either Eswatini or some South Africa, right? In sort of that general region.
Yeah, it gives me the vibes of Lesotho without being Lesotho.
Yeah, I don't. I'm pretty sure it's not Lesotho. Otherwise I'd recognize this coverage. I've played quite a lot of Lesotho. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it probably is Swatini. But yeah, as I said, it could just be South Africa as well. I don't think this time I'm actually for once pretty sure it can't be anywhere else.
And it's the 5 black people that live in Sweden.
I mean, even landscape wise, it doesn't really fit Sweden.
No, of course
I was just thinking, could there be a very, very weird location in Mexico that looks a bit like this? But no, it's just South Africa. Yeah,
not. Yeah.
East
And
London.
they are all in well, 2 of them are in
Lesotho.
Lesotho.
3 of them.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just couldn't think of anywhere in Lesotho that actually looked like
yeah.
that.
There's no place that looks like that in the city.
Instead of speculating poorly, though, this looks like actually one that we could speculate well on. Let's look at those guesses. Trickter has 10, while we have 2 players
Yeah,
basically on as minimum as you can get with 2.
yeah. Brodertom is kind of a new one up there. I don't think he's finished in the top 3 yet today. But what could this even be? I, I don't know.
I wish I could see the sun, because I feel like this might be like
Okay,
super. Uh,
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria was not on my mind.
I'm not
Yeah, that's the
surprised.
sort
It
of place
wasn't.
I just
Yeah, it wasn't on
I
my
just wanted
mind
to
either.
check if it was like South Africa, and then jump to places like Turkey, which was guessed.
It was. It was winter coverage.
Not I say South Africa, South America. I keep on doing that.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
thinking South Africa. That's an interesting guess.
no, no, no. It had the like random feeling that you get of like random places in Chile, but then
Mm,
once you confirm the sun, it random places also feel like Turkey or Greece often.
yeah.
This looks gettable. I don't
Well,
know what it
my
is, but it looks
first,
gettable.
yeah, my first thought was Brazil, but it could also just be, I don't know, Ecuador, Colombia, anything really down there. Uh, if I haven't said this previously enough, no moving is definitely not my specialty. I'm not a good no moving player at all, and no moving, panning, zooming doesn't make it any easier.
No moving, panning, zooming, and but you're not allowed to triangulate off your opponents because you're not in the game.
Yeah,
Even harder. I
yeah.
feel like the telephone pole with the like the two poles standing up is a big clue that these country guesser guys will know.
Quito, yeah,
Wow.
was
Yeah.
Ecuador.
Okay. Oh, well, I
Yeah,
guess it's capital.
yeah,
I got surprised how close they were, but if you're in Ecuador and it's a city, I guess Quito is the first place you guess, and
yeah.
they're all knowing that each other are close to each other. So
It was actually interesting at the end there because Brother Tom had completely run out of guesses, but was in first place, and Dennis had one guess left and was in second place. And then you had Trichter who had like 4 or 5 guesses left, and he was just spamming guesses, and he just couldn't get close enough to get past either of the two in front of him. And
that bollard, does that have orange on it, or is that just me not being close
I
enough to
think
it?
it's red. It could be orange as well. Kind of just looks like North Macedonia to me, but I don't know
It
why
definitely.
really. But it's Hungary apparently. All right, north of Budapest. I think in this scenario, just Brother Tom ran out of guesses. He didn't have a lot of them left, so this last round was over pretty quickly. But Dennis managed
I
to take
don't love the Budapest guess there from Dennis because it's clearly
it.
not
It's
Budapest
definitely
itself.
not central downtown Budapest, but it got him closer.
Yeah, I mean he won the round, so I can't really criticize too much. Dennis was already in the lead before this round, and shouts to Brother Tom for getting the second here. Having some pride here in this last. This is our last round.
I was just thinking. I don't actually know. I don't
We've had
remember.
four,
I think
I
so.
believe.
Yeah, four is the last one.
Braddock, save us from ourselves.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, Dennis won this one quite convincingly by an advantage of 9 points to the second place brother Tom. And Michael and Jake share the third place and another shared place in fifth by Milan and Trictor. Satsu is in seventh, Pastetli in eighth, and Ankomako in ninth place.
All right, nice. Do you know what that does to the full standings?
Yeah, I'm just currently updating them. Just 1 second.
Yeah, take your time. We've already been going for it for 1.5 hours. We can spare a few more seconds.
Yeah, and for everybody who joined us today, thank you. It's always appreciated when you guys are watching the content that we are making. It inspires us to make more.
Yeah, feel free to tell us about anything we could improve, both with maybe our commentary as well as with me moving around. Maybe I should move around more, move around less in any of the moving rounds. Just feel free to tell us anything we could improve on.
I'm looking at these standings, and we knew Dennis got first, but I'm seeing that Brother Tom got second. Is that true?
He got second in the last game. I can't imagine he would have gotten second in the overall. Um, I know he did well in the last round. I know there
Yeah,
was one more
yeah,
round.
he did get second actually.
He did?
Because yeah, the gap between Dennis as first and the rest of the guys was so big. Brother Tom was able to sneak in.
He really
Yeah.
snuck in there. Yeah, I did
Yeah.
not have him on my radar at all for finishing like top 4 even.
Yeah. So looking at the total standings after a messed up game by Dennis in the country guessing, he's completely back now, tied with Milan in second place. First is Jake Lyons. He has 3.5 ranks an advantage just because he's very consistent. He actually has not yet won an event, but he's ahead because he's very consistent. And then we have Trichter, who's in second right now, half a rank ahead of Milan and Dennis, as said. And behind that, quite a gap, 7.5 ranks to fifth place, Michael there. And then we have another 7 ranks to Pastetli in sixth place. Then another 1.5 ranks to Satsu. So Satsu and Pastetli currently fighting for sixth and seventh. And Brother Tom as eighth. It's not enough to bring him ahead, but at least he got a little bit closer now to Satsu and Pastetli. So who knows? Maybe he can get those two. And Ankomaku last, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's struggling a bit there. He pretty much just qualified because, well, there weren't exactly a whole lot of players left anymore in the last qualifier. And he managed to win that one. Fair play to him. He beat that one person he was going up against. So he's definitely rightfully qualified here, but yeah, he seems to struggle against some stronger opposition. And, you can only hope that he's still having fun, even though he finishes in last most of the time. But yeah, I think
Yeah, I feel
unless.
I feel like
Yep,
you could have said the same thing about Brother Tom, who had 4 eighth places, but today, with, 7th place, which is a slight improvement, but also the 2nd
yep.
place, an absolute showing, and good news for Brother Tom, if this is the format that he's gonna excel at, we have its closest, format, I believe next week with, no moving, panning, zooming, single guess, uh,
Yep, it's
showing up
gonna be
with
even
our
more
next.
fun.
The other to note is going to be country no moving single guess, which I think might be like one of the most skill testing uh, formats that we have, at least for the country mode.
Yeah, for the country mode for sure. I think the distance mode in general is a bit more skill testing even, but yeah, there's always that fight in quotation marks going on over what takes more skill, no moving or moving games, or country or distance battle royales. But yeah, they both take skills, just different ones. But yeah, I think that was it for today. We had pretty great events. Thank you everyone for watching, and yeah, we'll see you guys again next week. Until then, bye. You could also say bye.
You don't have to say bye, but you did such a good job. I considered saying adios, but
All right, well,